Controversial influencer Clavicular says he is home from the hospital after he appeared to suffer an overdose during a live stream last night. CBS News chief correspondent Matt Gutman has more.
This story focuses around Braden Peters, also known as Clavicular, an online influencer who was one of the pioneers of something called Looksmaxing. Tuesday night in Miami, he appeared woozy on this live stream. He live streamed constantly and then appears to overdose. He is carried out of this nightclub by security, loaded into a waiting SUV. You can see an ambulance right behind, and then very early the next morning he posted about having taken too much of a substance and getting these scratches on his face from some sort of respirator that was used in the hospital. Now, Peters, also known as Clavicular or Clav as he prefers, has gained a lot of controversy recently because of Looksmaxing and the extreme.
It's just clown content. And for however many people are following, what are you learning from this guy? How can you listen to somebody overdosing on whatever drugs he's taking, whatever things he's doing to look the way he looks? Why do you want to look like this person? Why do you want to do what this person is doing? What's your motive? When does it end? When you're in the coffin? You need to ask yourself these questions. Young kid in his early 20s doing all this. Why? It's not necessary.
He has taken, and other young people taken, to increase or maximize their attractiveness to women. Peters has talked about smashing himself in the face with a fist, sometimes using a hammer, to try to get a more chiseled look on his cheekbones and his jawbone, to taking methamphetamine, to steroid use since the age of 14, to the use of amphetamines in general just to stay slim as he tried to bulk up. He also gained controversy in February for allegedly instigating a fight between two women, which he live streamed in order to get clicks.
The moment you compromise integrity for views, that's when it's done. It's over with. You're a slave to attention. Never get to that point. Character is the most important thing. Don't do anything possible for attention, anything possible to look better. It seems like common sense, but nowadays you just have to repeat yourself, especially for the younger generation.
Was charged with a misdemeanor. In that case, he has not yet pleaded and hasn't been convicted of a crime, but it's part of a general trend which has gained him a bunch of criticism for alleged misogyny and his approach towards women in some of the live streams. And recently he did an interview on 60 Minutes Australia in which he was not apologetic for what he did. But when the interviewer asked him about his reported association with people like Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate, two very controversial online figures, he walked out of the interview.
When it comes to that kind of content, these individuals have a great way of triggering people enough to click the video. And unfortunately, with a lot of these individuals, they'll say a couple of things that are true and mix it with a couple of outlandish, over-the-top things. I hate how social media works that way, but it works that way. And these people are so popular for that reason. They know how to use that against you. Like I said, if you compromise integrity for views, to look better, to have more notoriety, what does that say about you?
We don't know if he's going to face any charges for this. At this point, we understand he is not, and already posted again online talking about a new club that he is opening very shortly. Back to you.
All right, Matt Gutman, thank you. The Free Press reporter River Page has written about the rise of Looksmaxing and joins us now. Okay, so for somebody who doesn't know what this is, help us understand it and some of the extreme methods that are used.
So Looksmaxing is basically this online subculture of young men who believe that they need to do whatever they can to get as hot as possible because they believe that like the only way you're going to be able to succeed in your romantic life and to a certain extent like getting a job and all this other stuff is to be attractive. And I wrote about this at the Free Press, but like some of the people I interviewed one guy who was injecting filler, like hyaluronic acid, into his heels to try to make himself taller. There's this thing called bone smashing where you take a hammer and you hit yourself in the cheekbone or the jaw, and the theory is that the bones will grow back stronger and more prominent. Anabolic steroid use is very, very common.
I mean, these are the extreme
meth.
methods being used by influencers who also know the power of inducing rage and being outrageous. But is there evidence to show that people are following this?
Well, yeah, I mean, in my reporting, I was looking at these forums where these are people who are not famous, a lot of them alarmingly young too, like 14, they're using meth. Like, one of the quotes I have is this kid who's like, I've been using...
You're straight up destroying the youth, man. Advertising this stuff to people. Straight up. In the fitness community, if you're endorsing TRT, peptides, performance enhancement drugs, you are destroying the youth. You're selfishly destroying the youth. Instead of telling people about the benefits of how it makes you look, how about telling them the repercussions, telling them what will happen, the consequences? Why not give people everything they need to have them make their own decision so that people can have free will to choose? You want cults. A lot of you people want cults. You want people to be like you. It's honestly, I don't know where to start.
Using meth to make my cheeks more hollow, but my heart rate has been increasing a lot, and like, should I go to a doctor? And you listen to his beats per minute, and it's just like crazy. It's a lot of these kids who are just using all these different drugs or buying Chinese research chemicals off the internet. It's very just like DIY. What do you how do you say?
Yeah, do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Is it mostly young men and boys?
Yeah, mostly young men. I don't
have to be.
You know, if I ever encountered one over like 30. A lot.
Funny, I'm over 30. Funny, I don't think this way. Like, younger folks listening, under 20, in your mid-20s, you don't need to do all this. As you age, your body will mature, and you will look better if you're taking care of yourself. Staying away from alcohol, staying away from drugs, staying away from processed foods, training consistently, at least 4 days a week, drinking lots of water, 1 ounce per pound of body weight, doing the things you should be doing, keeping your stress levels low, sleeping enough, 6 to 8 hours per night. Those things will make you look better instead of injecting your body with a bunch of different drugs I cannot even name. What will happen once you get to your 30s, your 40s, 50s? You need to start thinking ahead. Now isn't it. Now will pass. Tomorrow will come. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Think about that. Not only the moment.
Like I said, I think the youngest one that I found was like 13.
What are you finding?
That's crazy.
That this is having its moment, that the pressure that males are facing right now?
What pressure? Is pressure you're putting on yourself. Listen, I love women. I truly do. But I will not sacrifice peace for women. I will not sacrifice health for women. I'm not gonna do all this for women. Hate to break it to you. I'm not doing it. Never have, never will, never had to do it. Why are you making young men, boys, believe they need to do this? Why didn't our grandparents do this? My father, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather didn't have to do all this. Why is it now in this day and age we need all these strategies? We need men teaching us how to be correction. We need boys teaching us how to be men. Why? Only in this generation.
I think that, for most of history, if you were a man, the way that you attracted a woman or whatever is that you became a provider and you became education, whatever. Now dating online, it's all about your face and how you look. Like, there is a sort of perverse logic to the Looksmaxing mindset, which is that it's very difficult to date as a young person if you're on the apps, if you're not very attractive. And so I think what these things like, for example, bodybuilding was like a need.
And to be honest, looks is important, sure, to get you in the door, but we've made it the only thing that's important. Willing to do anything for it. That's when it's a problem. That's when it's a problem. You know how to take a concept and just overblow it, overdo it. Being in shape is important, but not to the extreme of going unnatural. Get what I mean? We don't need to always take things to extremes. We don't. Work out consistently. It doesn't mean work out twice a day, 24/7, 365. It doesn't mean that. It means 3 days a week, but you're doing that 12 months of the year. It doesn't mean train twice a day, like I said before, every single day. We need to stop taking a concept that may be true and pushing it to the top. We need to find a common medium. Looks are important to some extent. Do your best to look the best you can naturally. Injecting your body with a bunch of crap, hitting your face with hammers, overdosing on drugs. Why? Why is that necessary? If that's what it takes to look better, I don't want to look better.
Niche outsider sport until the 80s, and then it becomes like really, and so like this hasn't always been the case. Even if we talk about before Looksmaxing, the focus on men's body it has like really with like mass media, TV in the 80s, and it's kind of just escalated, and now it's algorithmatized online.
And real quick, a part of that what is Clavicular's role in that, in bringing Looksmaxing now to the forefront of of the zeitgeist?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we would be talking about Looksmaxing if it weren't for Clavicular. He has a sort of charm.
Honestly, the original person that talks about Looksmaxing was FedEx Fearless, not Clavicular or whoever this guy is. He wasn't the originator of this. Anyways, let's keep going.
About him, he has this really, he uses Looksmaxing lingo, which is like, I'm coffee cup maxing. I don't know. It's this really weird stuff.
Mog.
Yeah, and a lot of people are kind of watching it as like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to talk like this. And I think because he's so extreme, because he was like, yeah, I started doing meth when I was 16, I'm sterile at 20, and all this other stuff. It was just so outrageous. I think it got people's attention.
That's the problem.
A lot to be said there for that, and some other influencers there in the so-called manosphere, but we'll save that for another day. River Page, thank you.
Thank you.
Damn, that's crazy. I don't have any more to add, but to say this. You don't need to do this much to look better. You don't. And when it comes to anybody on social media giving you this kind of advice, look at their life. Look at what they're doing. Do they have results you want? And I don't just mean externally, internally. This person is miserable to be overdosing on a bunch of drugs, to be doing this much to impress. He's a slave to attention. Truly is. I don't know any other way to say it. Anyways, provide any feedback you have. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned for more reaction videos. May God bless you, and I'll see you next reaction.
Metro Boomin, want some more, nigga.